I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into the chilling world of corporate greed and dangerous pesticides with James Frazee, author of the book, Mosquito Bites. Join us right now as we follow Alex Gregory, who discovers his new job at Sterling Chemicals might be lethal, not just to him, but to humanity itself. This gripping novel explores the catastrophic impact of a new pesticide and the perilous journey to expose the truth. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Lighthouse Literary for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. James, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much for having me.
This book feels very real. It feels like what's probably happening all the time. I was buying my dog a pet collar the other night for fleas and ticks, and I'm like, I wonder if this is safe, because you can't trust it. So what inspired you to write a thriller centered around the dangers of pesticides?
Well, I got to go back many years when I was in college. One of the books that inspired me was Rachel Carson's book, Silent Springs, which is about pesticides and destroying the environment. I majored in entomology. And my first job out of college was actually working for a pesticide company. And my job was to go out to research farms, test the chemicals on plants, determine whether they're killing the bugs or not killing the bugs, and how to increase the growth of the plants. And so that stuck in the back of my head all the time. And so several years later, now that I've retired, I kept thinking about that. What would happen if a pesticide actually went in there? It destroyed all the bugs like it's supposed to and help companies, but then it also changed the environment, so in the long term might hurt people without knowing it. And then how would a company react to that if all of a sudden their big chemical that was supposed to save them from bankruptcy all of a sudden is a fraud?
Yeah.
And how it's going to, and then it's about how the person who played Alex Gregory actually was after my own life, this type of work that I did working with the chemical company. So it's based on that.
Very, very cool. Did you actually spray the chemicals? Were you testing the chemicals? Tell me a little bit about your...
I was out on the farm spraying the chemicals, out there collecting how the growth of the plants, collecting the insects that was killing and not killing on like 8 different plants, counting them, going back and analyzing the data and identifying if this new product was worthwhile going to the next phase of development. And we're testing like 7 to 10 new products every year.
Amazing. Right. So no ill health effects for you, hopefully.
No, not that I know of so far.
Thank goodness, because we have people spraying our property for ticks and they're there. And it looks like they're doing that all day long. They're breathing it in, no matter what kind of mask you wear. In some cases, not wearing any mask at all. But they tell me it's harmless, that within 2 hours, once it's dried, let the dogs play on it, let the kids play on it. So that's good to know. But this makes a great novel because people's imaginations are already geared that way. Like, what's in this stuff? What are we spraying on our lawns? What are we spraying on our fruits and vegetables? Could it kill us? And you know, you've come up with a story about that.
Well, the one thing is that I always worried about these chemicals. It doesn't hurt me now, it doesn't hurt me tomorrow. What is the long-term effect? Now, 20, 30 years from now. And that's just something that these companies never test.
Yeah.
And that was the purpose of the book, to show, we got to worry about more than what it does today, but what possibly do in the future. So even though it was a novel fiction, it had a lot of my own feelings about the environment.
Yeah, it has that feeling of an expose. And I know Sterling Chemicals was a company you made up because you can't use the name of the real company. But yeah, those are lingering questions that we have, no doubt. Have you envisioned this as a movie, perhaps?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us about that. Who would play Alex Gregory? Now that's going to be.
I have thought about that over and over.
We got to find somebody handsome enough, because we know he's really you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that handsome. No, I think about all the time about the characters that in my mind, and I can't. Who would play this part? And I really can't. Probably the closest one that I like would probably be Matt Damon.
Matt Damon would be great.
Yeah. And he's got that type of. But the rest of the characters, I just cannot yet
Well, there's a
Get in my
bunch of
mind.
casting directors in Hollywood who can figure all that stuff out
Yeah,
just like that. You'd be surprised.
and
Yeah.
maybe yeah, they have to let that to them. So, and there are some characters, and one of the characters in there that actually died in the book.
Mhm.
And it really affected me, even though it was a fictional character, that something about that person when I had
Mm.
to write that chapter that really got to me. And I don't know
Yeah.
why, but just
Yeah.
like I felt like I lost a good friend who was never really a
Right.
friend.
Well, I think sometimes we create characters in our books and in our screenplays that we love on some level, that they're a good guy or they're a great girl or whatever it is. And when they do meet their demise in the storytelling process, part of you is kind of lost. So that's part of it. I mean, when you're creating a world by writing a novel, you're living in that world for a while, right? Yeah.
Yeah, all the description. Actually, the apartment that is in the book is the apartment where I'm living in, the locations where I'm living, the place where the offices where I went to work every day when I was working for the chemical company. Stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of real life experience in there. And one of the people I know from California and he said, "You really described the subway. I never understood how the subways worked in Manhattan." And you said you really described the
That's
subway.
great.
So I guess
You
I did
got to
something good.
you got to write about what you know, and you wrote about what you know, which is what makes this book really ring true. Is this your first time writing a novel?
This is my first novel. I've written two books prior to this, and I've now written a third novel. It's the sequel to this one. The same characters, they go on a new journey. So
Okay, what's the name of that novel?
that's called Searching for Sarah.
Searching for Sarah. Okay, sounds great. So not only do we have a book in the makings or a book out there right now, we've got a sequel. And so we've got two movies out of this at least. So this is good. You're becoming prolific here, which is great, James.
What's
Excellent, excellent.
interesting, I didn't write any of my books until after I retired. I never thought I was a writer. All of a sudden, one day it just hit me, I've got to put this stuff down.
Yeah.
And the interesting about it, I tell my friends, when my first class in college was English class. And the
Mhm.
first paper I ever wrote, I got an F minus. So I
That's
said,
a
I
sign
never
you're doing something right.
something right now. It goes back what you said. You write about your experiences, your whole
You write
life,
about your experiences and
what you know.
also what's different and new and what challenges the norm is not appreciated in a scholarly setting.
Right.
You know, I mean, famously, Fred Astaire was told that he can't sing, can't act, can dance a little, right? That was his critique. So if you got an F minus, and on your in your English class, I can understand it. I feel your pain because creative people often aren't understood. That's for sure. So you've written these two novels now, and is there a third installment coming in this story?
There's one I'm working on right now. Yes.
Okay,
Um,
great. And what's going to be the theme of that third installment?
I'm going to keep that a secret right now.
Okay.
It's the same characters. I'm trying to work out, where they're going and how they get there. So I may change my mind. So I don't want to put anything out there. I'm sure yet, 100%.
Exactly. It's still in the fomenting
Yeah.
process, in the brain processor, as we like to say. Absolutely. What was it like writing the book? Did it just flow? Did you struggle? Were you up early mornings? Were you up late nights? Tell us a little bit about the writing process.
I always, other writers I've talked to say, well, they have a schedule. They get up in the morning, they write all day like a normal job. I'm not like that. I only wrote when I felt like it. All of a sudden I got this idea. I got to get it down on paper. And I may sit down and write for an hour and not write again for another 3 days.
Hmm.
But once it started, it just came out. But somehow I got the idea and I said, now I got to make it go. And so that's my process.
Yeah.
It's not an
Awesome.
8 to 5 job. It could be a 20-minute job.
Yeah. Whenever you have time, it might be 4 hours one day, 3 minutes the next day. Whenever you have the thought, whenever the feeling moves you,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when is the right time to write. Well, that's wonderful. And it's like I said, this book is captivating because it feels very, very real. And it feels real because Alex Gregory is based on the real life author. And the name of the book is The Mosquito Bites. And it is the story of Alex Gregory, who discovers that his new job at a chemical company might not just be lethal for himself, but for all of humanity. It's a great read. It really, hits those fears that a lot of us have inside. By the way, who is your intended target for this book? Who do you think would enjoy it?
Actually, it's a mystery novel. Anybody who likes mystery and likes suspense.
Exactly. It's a thriller. It's a page turner. James, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.